So the first thing we want to do is we want to fix the brain so that it's communicating properly to the gut, then fix the gut so that it's communicating back properly back up to the brain, okay? So here's the first thing on how you actually fix your brain, okay? So you can't just fix the gut and have it communicate back to a stressed out brain, right? Because then what's going to happen? Healthy here going to here, you're going to break that safety pin and it's not going to have the brain influence the health of the gut. So, how many of you know, how many of you ever heard of Dr. Roger Sperry, a brain researcher? He won a Nobel Prize, by the way. And he won a Nobel Prize based on his research that he said 90% of the stimulation actually going to the brain, do you guys know where it comes from? It's actually not from the gut, it's actually coming from the movement of the spine. So what happens is when you talk about having a healthy brain, so like your brain is like constantly making all of these executive decisions, right? I mean, on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level. And so in order to have a healthy brain, the healthy brain has to constantly have input. That input we call proprioception. Do you guys know what proprioception means? I'll give you an example. I want everyone to close your eyes and go ahead and clap. Nice job. So I know that you have proprioception. So have you ever asked yourself the question, how did I know how to hit my hands without looking at it? Right? So how did I know how to do that with my eyes closed? Well, what that is that you have these proprioceptors in all of your joints and muscles, and they're constantly giving this feedback at the brain saying, hey, brain, my wrist is out here. Hey, brain, my wrist is right here, and this is why I can touch my fingers together by having my eyes closed. And so if the brain's getting that proprioception, they're like, this feels really good. I know where I'm at, I'm getting the right amount of information, so it's really important to have proper proprioception going back to the brain. Now here's the thing. Guess where about 90% of the body's proprioception is located? In the joints of your spine. So out of all of the different parts of the body, 90% is located in the joints of the spine. Now, here's the kicker. About 95% of that 90%, do you know where it's located? In the top two vertebrae in your head, at C1 and C2. So almost all of your body's proprioception that's going back to the brain is related to the top two vertebrae and how well they're moving and how well they're aligned. So let's say, for example, you get in a car accident or you get hit. And I'll give you a perfect example. What's happening to NFL players like crazy? What are they suffering from? Anxiety, depression, no energy, and whatnot. And what has every single NFL player at some point, what have they suffered from? A concussion. Now think about it. If I hit my head like this against something, what will I also damage? I will damage my upper cervical neck. And so what happens is that if that area gets damaged and starts moving incorrectly, so have you ever seen people, they look like this or they look like this? So what happens is now the brain or the spine stops giving literally 90% of the stimulation going back to the brain. This actually puts the brain in a stress state. It says, oh my goodness, something's happening. You're not giving me the information that I need, and now the brain becomes stressed. Now the stress hormones inside of the body start to go completely crazy. And by the way, this can actually happen in the absence of pain. You do not have to have neck pain in order for there not to be the stimulation going back to the brain. In fact, most people don't have any kind of neck pain. That's actually the last thing to show up is neck pain. Obviously, one of the first things to show up is you'll look at someone and you'll see that their posture is off. So you can go out and go, I look at everyone's posture when I go out. I've actually already analyzed all of yours. But that's usually the first thing. Because, I mean, so can a child have a problem with their brain due to the upper part of the neck in the absence of any kind of pain? Absolutely. So you can get a trauma this way, car accident, but what are we doing like crazy now? We're doing this. Now, if some of you are part of our TCC Healthy Patients Facebook page, I put a video of you guys up with people, with a person, what their neck looks like when you're in the text position. And so you have 60 degrees of flexion actually will tether and damage the spinal cord. So if you leave a tethered spinal cord or a stretched spinal cord for 2 or 3 hours every single day, I mean, my goodness, what I'm really concerned about is the influence it actually has on your brain, okay? So the stimulation of the brain, to have an unstressed brain, you have to have a spine that's working the way that it's supposed to, providing the right type of feedback back to the brain.